thing we want to do is get the tenderloins out. We've got to make some room here. So right where the legs intersect the stomach here, I want to cut this off, get it out of our way. Cut it right down to the rib bone. Do the same thing over here. Now your tenderloins are right here. On any animal, that's the best part of the meat, most tender. So you want to take those out first before you damage them. To cut the tenderloins off, we're going to start up here high, the back legs. These things will peel off into two different pieces basically, and they'll come out pretty easy. So get behind them. See right here, we're peeling that tenderloin out. Now there you have the tenderloin, the best part of the deer. Now we're going to cut out the loins, or also called the chops, in a deer here. To start, right where the hip meets the back, we're going to make a slice right across on both sides. Now we're going to follow the backbone down on both sides of it. We're going to cut of the backbone. Down to about the neck, go to the other side of the backbone, and do the same thing. Now we're going to make a slice right here. These are your loins. So we're going to make a slice to peel those loins out with. Again, do that on both sides. Now, you got to get those loins started. Get around the rib cage. Once you get them started, they're pretty easy to peel out. There's your. All right, now got the loin peeled down. Like I said, it pulls out pretty easy. Get down here to the shoulder blade and just cut that loin right off. And there's where you'll slice your chops out of. Making small cuts, however thick you want it. Here's one of the tenderloins that all cleaned up and very good to eat. You can bake that. You can slice it up real thin and fry it in a pan, or you can mix it into noodles or something. All right, now that we have the back loins out, we're going to trim this out here, and then we're going to slice our loins down here. This is what the back side of the loin looks like once you got it cleaned up. Turn that over and start making our cuts. Here I made a few cuts. Now I'm going to slice this off, just like flaying it right off the back side of that fat. This is where we flay these pieces off, and there you've got your chops. Now that all the chops are cut up, you want to add this to a vacuum seal and put it in the freezer. You also are going to end up with a pile of scraps here that you're going to want to grind up for Hamburg. The best Hamburg I found is mix it 50-50 with beef, real fatty beef, cheap Hamburg. And then you can even take some and add some bacon to it. And when you cook it up, give it a real good flavor. To vacuum, take what you want in number of pieces that you want in a bag and put it in a vacuum sealer and seal her up. I'll put a date on there, and those are venison chops. Put them in the freezer. We have the neck, and what we're going to do with the neck is, in this case, we're going to make two roasts out of it. So we're going to trim it up. We want to get this cartilage or this fat out of here. You can make, like I said, Hamburg sausage brats out of this also. one of the hind quarters, and we're going to cut our round steaks out of here. So you have your rounds on the top side. On this side you got a round tip. You can cut those into steaks, but it makes a good tip roast, or you can grind that up. Start with your round steaks. We're going to take and cut right here, and everything back from here is again going into your hamburg and your sausage. Now we'll start cutting your round steaks right here. Get up to where you typically have your sirloins. We'll just peel that off the bones. We'll take a couple small steaks out of there and we'll throw that in the sausage also. Just take a long fillet knife here, however thick you want your steaks. If you let this cool down or freeze a little bit, just slice all the way down to the bone. And there you got your nice round steaks. And keep going until you get all the way back to this bone here. Now here we've taken and cutting some of these rounds off. You can see what they look like. At the end you're going to have some smaller pieces. But we'll take and pack those away now, and then we'll get the rest of it, and we'll get the tip roast out here on this side, and what would be sirloins, and we'll cut a few steaks out of this left and then put the rest into the sausage. Alright, now to take the tip out, we're going to start down here. Cut around this bone here. We're going to peel it down the bone here. Cut right up to the pelvic bone. Cut that out. And we'll trim that up, and you'll have a tip roast there. The rest of this, like I said, this is where your sirloins would be in your beef. We'll cut a couple steaks out of there, make the rest into sausage. Here we have the tip roast all cleaned up now, and we'll just again wrap that in the vacuum seal, put that in a crock pot, cook it down slow, and makes a real good pot roast. Now in our second quarter we got our rounds cut off, some nice round steaks there. And we got our tip cleaned up for a tip roast, and again you can make that into sausage or hamburger if you want. Now we got to learn how to take the meat off the pelvic bone here, which would be your sirloin on a steer. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut along the bone right here and peel this out like you would if you're filleting a fish. Here we're taking our knife and we're peeling this out, and we'll keep working it back. You can make this a sirloin tip, like I said. Tastes real good. You can cut it into cubes and have fondue, or you can put it into sausage and hamburger. This is the meat off the pelvic bone, the sirloin part. I cut it into 2 pieces so I could trim it easier, but you take that and put that in a crock pot. This concludes our video on how to butcher your deer without having a meat saw or a bandsaw to cut the steaks up, to cut through the bone, to use it just a simple fillet knife, what we call deboning. Now all you got to do is take all the hamburg that your meat, or your meat left over for your hamburg, have that grind up, take that to a butcher shop if you want, have them make the sausage, make your own hamburg. It is up to you. Thank you.